Welcome to the Real Estate Espresso Podcast, your morning shot of what's new in the world of real estate investing. I'm your host, Victor Menashe. On today's show, we're talking about doing business with people who are not real. We had a recent interaction with a seller who turned out to be a liar. Sadly, these situations happen with alarming regularity. The property in question was based in Houston, and since we're in Texas, we'll call this individual Bubba. That's not his real name, but his email address was something like this: Bubba the Closer, using a gmail.com address. I'm instantly suspicious when someone's using a Gmail or a Hotmail address. When that happens, it suggests the person is not really serious about being in business. They can't afford the $6 a month to go out and get a properly hosted email address with their own internet domain. Our team was approached 2 weeks ago about a property that had potential for development for apartments. The person who approached us first represented that they were the seller, and then eventually made it clear that they were not the seller, but they were going to wholesale the contract to us. He didn't disclose the property address, but gave us a general idea of the property's location and its size. He disclosed the seller was elderly and didn't like to conduct business over the phone. He would want to meet in person. In our first meeting with the wholesaler 2 weeks ago over Zoom, he represented that he had the property under contract. At first, he said he wanted an assignment fee, and then he said he would accept a lower assignment fee in exchange for participating in the project and wanting to learn more from us. We said that we would be open to exploring different structures. We gave the wholesaler a list of due diligence questions to ask of the seller. Top of the list was to understand the road access and the availability of utilities at the property. In Houston, there's many municipal utilities districts, and each district manages their allocation of water and sewer capacity. If you're not part of the utilities district, then you can't really add density to the property. We arranged a site visit, but he still had not given us the address and eventually refused to give us the address and decided to meet the seller himself without us. It's clear that he doesn't have the ability to close on the purchase. He was too scared that we were going to steal the deal from him. So we conducted the most basic of due diligence on the internet. The wholesaler had no website, they had a LinkedIn profile, and an Instagram account. The only indication that this wholesaler was involved in real estate at all was a single video on his Instagram account. Well, the information in the Instagram video did not match what we were told by the wholesaler in person. Turns out the property does not have direct access onto a public right-of-way. It would require an easement from the church next door, or access through another property that the seller happens to own. The wholesaler went on to brag about how he was going to wholesale this property and earn a six-figure income for flipping the contract to a buyer. He then went on to say more about the seller. He described the seller as an 88-year-old man who owned a lot of real estate, restaurants, apartments, and that frankly he was a tired landlord. The best part was that he was expecting to get the property locked up under contract very soon. But wait a minute, he had just told us before he recorded the video that he already had the property under contract. When we confronted him about canceling the site visit with our team, he proceeded to blame our team for not being trustworthy. He attacked our team member's character. We did further due diligence on the wholesaler. Turns out that he was active on social media about the property, representing the property was a residential site that could be rezoned for multifamily development. Now, in most communities, rezoning a property for different use would be fully expected. But Houston is unique. There is no zoning code in Houston. As long as your building meets building code and passes fire marshal and utilities capacity, you can put anything anywhere. There's hardly any other city in America quite like it. Well, turns out this wholesaler didn't know that there was no zoning code in Houston. See, unfortunately, the seller is wasting time with a wholesaler who has no clue what he's doing. This individual is so far out of his depth that he's pretending he knows what he's doing. He has no idea that he's been even caught in multiple lies. He has no doubt recently spent a lot of money taking a boot camp on how to become a wholesaler, and I've no doubt that he's been coached on how to close deals from these motivated sellers who are tired old landlords. I wish we could do more to protect hardworking people from these kind of business predators. I actually have no problem working with professional wholesalers, but the emphasis is on the word professional. They can be a source of great deals. I've in fact bought 2 deals in the past year from wholesalers, and they've been rewarded handsomely. Fakes show up in all industries, and I suppose real estate is not immune. When you perform due diligence, make sure you perform due diligence on the people who make representations. You never know what you might find out. As you think about that, have an awesome rest of your day. Go make some great things happen. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.